I have a design tip for you about using the rule of thirds. It turns out that the human brain loves threes. We find them harmonious, balanced, and stable. I'd been designing cards for quite a while before I learned of this concept, and when I looked through a number of my projects, I see I had utilized the rule of thirds without realizing it, just because that's what felt best to me. Here are two draft versions of the same focal point. I did this one first, and I ended up not liking the layout because for some reason it didn't feel right to me. Then I realized it didn't make use of those magical thirds. Let me show you with this grid that I've made on a piece of vellum. So you can see on here, when I lay this over the image, that neither the sentiment nor the center of the sunflower really hit those sweet spots where two of the third lines cross. Let's look at the one I ended up going with. And you can see here that the center of the sunflower is pretty close to this cross point. Not exact, but close enough that the eye finds that pleasing. And then the sentiment is right around this cross point. To make your own grid that will show you the thirds, you need to take and cut a piece of vellum 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is the standard size of our card fronts. I'm going to demonstrate on this piece of white cardstock for you because it's easier to see than on this vellum. I'm going to use the centimeter side of my ruler. It turns out that it's very awkward to try to use the inches side when I'm dividing 5 1/2 inches by 3. And I'm not going to get very accurate thirds on my grid. I'm going to measure along the long side 4.7 centimeters and make a mark there. And then I'm going to turn it around and measure 4.7 centimeters on the other end as well. Then I'll turn the cardstock around and make those marks on the other end. The reason I'm measuring from each end is because one panel will be just about 1 millimeter smaller than the other two, and I want that one to be in the center. Then I just draw a line between the marks here. Now along the short side, it does divide evenly by 3, so this time I'm going to do 3.6 centimeters, which is one of these small lines past the half mark between the 3 and the 4. And I'm going to just move the ruler and do the 3.6 mark again. I do that on each end and draw lines between the marks. And there's my grid. And on vellum, it looks like this. After I've drawn those marks, I'm going to use my paper piercing tool to punch a hole in each of the cross points. And the reason for that is when I'm working on a piece, if I want to position my images and sentiment, making use of those sweet third spots, I can just take and lay this grid over my cardstock and make a pencil mark through the holes, and then I've got marks where those third lines cross that I can use to help me with my design. And here's my finished card. I hope you find this tip useful and that it will help you create awesome designs for your projects. Happy stamping!